Hey, everybody. I just wanted to talk today about just not perfection, just taking one day at a time and just being who you are in the midst of who you are. I've been pushing hard since August, really, and it's just been a tremendous ball of stress. Coming at me from multiple angles just because of the circumstances that I was in. Recuperating from 3 floods, one in my van, one in my apartment, and one in the one of the hotels I was staying at. My dad, going through all of his treatment and then actually dying, and then also being full-time with graduate school and trying to get all the papers and everything else completed for that as well. So sometimes when you're doing a lot of different things that are requiring a tremendous amount of your attention and energy, there's going to be a point where sometimes you need to give yourself some slack and you need to take some time to rest and to recuperate. Now, you will notice that I am wearing a robe and I'm sitting propped up in my bed. And I've been in my bed for a couple hours today instead of sitting at the desk, instead of, sitting in a different chair in another room in my home. I just needed to rest, to be under the covers, to be a little bit warmer, to do what things I needed to do on the laptop from my phone. And that's okay. You are allowed to be human. You are allowed to take what time you need to rest and, again, to grieve. So if you are in the situation where you are, you're overwhelmed with school, I totally get it. School really, in a lot of ways, is just a humongous ball of stress. And quite frankly, I am pretty much done with it. After this semester, I think I'm done. It doesn't mean that I'm going to complete this degree. I just think that for me, I'm done. Sometimes we go into something and we think that we're going to get a certain result after being in it or choosing that. And sometimes we choose it to then discover that we didn't really want to choose it after all. And that's also okay, to allow ourselves the freedom to make the choices that are truly best for our interest and not the interest of other people that might have been pushing us in a certain direction because they thought that we would be better suited if we were to follow their suggestions. And sometimes other people's suggestions are not at all what is right for us. So on the note of school and stress, if you're in school and you're under stress, I totally get it. So in regards to school and stress, I'm going to share a few tips, okay? First of all, whatever assignments that you have, make sure that not only are you writing them down on your calendar, if you have a paper calendar, but that you're also making audio alarms in your digital calendar so that when your assignments are due, you're giving yourself enough leeway to get your assignments done on time. And definitely with last semester when I had more classes, that was really helpful. This class that I'm in this semester, it's just one class that I'm managing, but it is an entrepreneurship class and it's on my business plan. So there's a lot of details to this. So again, I can set those appointments on my calendar in terms of I need to do this portion today. I need to write this today. I need to do research on this today. And that, again, just eases some of the stress so that I know what I'm focused on when I'm focused on it. The other thing is I'm going to say, ride the wave. And what I mean by that is there are certain days when your mind is really working fast and, you need to take advantage of that. So sometimes I have done all-nighters where I'm just going because that particular day I was just really in a writing mode. And there are other days when I just can't write. It's just not coming out that day. And that's a better day to get my errands done or to do some online shopping or to clean my apartment. and to just not think that every single second has to be about school and research. So if you are in school, you know what I'm talking about. So finding that balance. The other thing in terms of being under stress and allowing yourself to do what is comfortable for you is also in regards to your eating habits. And I'm going to speak on this just again a little bit more just to clarify my point. We're in the midst of the holiday season, the busiest season where everybody is inviting us out to lunch, to dinner, to office parties, to events, to go see a museum, to go see a movie, what have you. And all of those events generally revolve around food and gathering together. And I'm not saying that, our friends and family and even the restaurants that we like to frequent to don't provide excellent, great tasting food. They all do, okay? The taste is what gets us in trouble. The portions are what get us in trouble. And also the amount of sugar content that we tend to consume this particular period of the year between Thanksgiving and the New Year. So my caution to you is to manage your eating by managing it yourself. I'm going to share with you what I do. What I do is I do smoothies, okay? So I make sure that I have a green smoothie in the morning. I make sure that I make 2 of them so that I have one at that moment when I'm going to drink the smoothie, and then I have that either in the refrigerator or in my carrying container, and then in my refrigerator in my van, so that as I'm going, I have an extra smoothie that I've already prepared. There's no mess. It's just I'm ready to go and ready to consume my food in a liquid format. The other thing that I do is by managing my own food and making it myself, I know exactly what I'm putting into my food. When I'm going to a restaurant or I'm eating somebody else's food that is from a holiday event, most of the time they're going to be using a lot of sugar. And that is, again, what I'm warning you about. When you are making your own smoothies, when you're preparing your own salads, when you're preparing your own meals, you know exactly how much oil you're putting in, what kind of quality oil you're putting in. You understand how much sugar or no sugar that you're not putting in, and you are in control of it. But when you release that control to other people, meaning restaurants, friends and family, all these events that you're going to, the catering events, etc., you are at the mercy of whoever created that, and you don't know all the details of what's in it. So my caution to you is, as much as you can continue to prepare your own food yourself in your own kitchen, you are going to safeguard yourself, have a full stomach, so that when you go to an event, maybe you have a taste or a morsel of something that's very yummy that you really, look forward to this year. But you could have a bite instead of eating 3 pieces. That's the control, and that's the self-discipline that you get when you are cleaning out your system. Okay, and then lastly, the other tip I wanted to share is in terms of managing your time in terms of holidays and saying yes and saying no. So I've been invited to a lot of different events, and sometimes the answer is just no. It's just no, because I don't want I'm just not in a place where I want to be around a lot of people. I don't. Sometimes other people, when you are grieving over someone, is very triggering. So sometimes it's better to preserve yourself and only have a select couple people that you're spending your time with, and maybe you'll reminisce about your loved one in that capacity. But when you go to larger events where lots of friends and family are gathering, again, you need to protect yourself and set yourself up with communication and standard phrases to protect yourself, so that you're not constantly being brought into their drama and what they want to do. Because a lot of times people don't know how to deal with people who are grieving, and so they sometimes talk too much instead of just saying, "Hey, Anne, it's good to see you." Instead of going, "I'm really sorry to hear about your dad. I'm really sorry to hear about the way things are going in your family, blah, blah." The whole point is you can bypass that by being very selective about the events that you choose to go to, and also having prepared some very simple statements like, I appreciate your concern, but I'm really not going to be discussing that today. Thank you so much for thinking about me. Yes, I am still grieving. Excuse me. Walk away. Do whatever you need to do to protect yourself. I don't think anybody intentionally is trying to, piss you off or make you upset. But sometimes, because of what people say and some of the stories that they bring up, they don't realize that maybe that's the thing that you just don't want to talk about right then. So I hope this helps to get you through some of the holidays. So remember to allow yourself the time to self-care, even if that means having a little bit of time in bed and being more comfortable and cozy and continuing to do your work, but doing it in more comfort. The other thing is to be able to make sure that you use your alarms on your calendar and writing in your paper calendar, on your digital calendar, so that you clearly know what you're going to, what you're not going to, and as far as your school assignments and your business assignments, to make sure that you don't forget those important things that you really need to remember. And lastly, that when you are communicating and dealing with friends and family, that it's okay to say no, and no is a complete sentence. Have a good one, everybody.